All right, call the meeting to order. This is the Michigan City Port Authority Board of Directors meeting, June the 20th, 2016. And our first order of business would be to approve or correct the minutes from the June 6th meeting.
Move we correct, or excuse me, move we approve the minutes from last meeting as stated.
Seconded.
Motion second to approve the minutes as they have been published. Do we have any questions or comments? Questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved. By the way, Mr. Haynes, glad to see you. Mr. Cooper has already told us he doesn't have anything to say. Don, do you have anything you want to talk about? Okay. Then may we have the harbor master's report?
Sure. Update for you on the fence at Trail Creek. It turns out that the car that came through the fence did have insurance, and we received a check this week to cover the amount of the lesser estimate. And we've contacted that company, and they will be fixing the fence, and they figure it'll be 3 to 4 weeks because they'll have to either order or fabricate some of the parts since that was a wrought iron fence. But that's in the works. We're currently working on a couple of banners and some ideas for a display at the LaPorte County Fair. You remember a couple weeks ago we agreed to have a booth at the fair. I expect it'll be a static display, so we'll have some pictures and banners and handouts and stuff there. Last week, a week ago Friday, was the voter party at Blue Chip. I spoke with Colleen over at Blue Chip, and she thought there was about 120 people that attended. I didn't count, but I would have thought it was more than that. What do you think? Yeah. The people that I talked to there seemed to enjoy it. She had some similar comments, and I don't know if they'll want to do it next year or not, but the food was good and the music wasn't too bad, so that was good.
I was told they were going to do it every year. You know, whether that happens or not.
Well, it's 2 in a row so far. Also, this Saturday is the cardboard boat race. The registration starts at 11, and the race will happen at some point after that. I guess it just depends on how long registration lasts. We will have an electrician here to shut the electric off probably right around 11 or shortly thereafter, and then turn it on after the last race. And then the fireworks are on Monday the 4th. It's 2 weeks from tonight. You can put that on your calendar. And we've been asked through the mayor's office to help alleviate some of the pressure on the north bathroom up there by the beach with a couple porta potties. So we've put a couple out there, but I'll need you guys to approve it. In talking with Jeremy over at the park and Kaylin up at the mayor's office, if we can have them there for 3 months, that'll give the mayor and the park a chance to talk to the council and see if they can appropriate some more money to the park to pick up the porta potties from there on. So we're looking at a total of $1,620 to cover the next 3 months for the porta pots at the North Bathhouse. And that's all I have for tonight, unless anybody has any questions.
It's been enjoyable not seeing the porta potties there. I noticed when they came back in. I'm sure there's a good reason why we need them, but it was nice not having them. Believe me, I think it's just,
Well, there's a jurisdictional thing there that I think maybe everybody ought to understand. The public bathhouse was there. It's on Port Authority property, and it was built with Port Authority money. It was just something we wanted to do for the city. I think you were on the board at that time. And after it was built and everything, we simply turned the operation and the repairs and everything over to the park department, and they've used it as though it was their property, and we're happy with that. Then, at some time later, will Jim help me with this? When was it that we got involved with the porta potties?
Oh, a year and a half ago, or thereabouts.
What were the circumstances where we got involved with that?
We got involved, the city as a whole was significantly cutting their budgets because of the property tax snafu that was going on. The bathrooms at the park office had been torn down. We were coming into fall, and there felt to be a need for something for the fishermen out on the pier after the North Bathhouse closed. And since the other bathhouse was gone, there was no building there yet. So we put them out there for the fishermen. That continued through last summer because the building didn't really open till the end of the season. We kept them there in the winter, but now this spring, we felt that since the North Bathhouse was open, the new North Point Pavilion was open, and those bathrooms were there, we could do away with the porta potties. We had a busy, I don't know if it was Memorial Day or what day it was, but the mayor noticed quite a line coming out of the North Bathhouse, and back and forth between us and Jeremy, we decided to put them back out there for the time being.
Okay, so your suggestion and recommendation is that the board approves $1,620 for 2 units to be put out there until the end of September.
Yep.
If I may add a comment, also what's occurring is the influx of visitors, it really has picked up because of the new park office and everything, the curiosity of what's going on, in Michigan City. So it's definitely picked up. But, we appreciate that the Port Authority is, willing to do that until maybe they can secure more monies from the council. Try to anyway.
Okay, so we're going to need a motion from the board to approve spending that money. Yes,
I have a comment first. First of all, you talk about jurisdiction problem. With the porta potties where they are right now, is that on our property or is that on the park department property? Do we know that?
that's on our property.
That's on our property. Right, do we allow the park department and all visitors to use that bathhouse that we built down there? So a lot of park people who come to the park use it. It would be my suggestion to ask the park board if they'd be willing to share this cost with us. I don't think that we should have to pay for all of it.
We'll see what comes out of this. Dan?
Is it possible that they can be put in before this Saturday? Because I know with the cardboard boat damage, we'll have a lot of people.
They're already there.
Oh, they're there already. I guess I go look at, are they ADA compliant?
One of them
We
is.
haven't even voted on
Well, we were asked to put them there before the weekend by the mayor's office, so we did.
And if I may add to your comment or suggestion of rules, I mean, we're willing to, go for the council to see if we're able to get monies to take care of that, because obviously the park doesn't have the money, so that's the need for going before the council.
Well, I don't think that's our burden.
it. Well, how do we know that the park doesn't
That's
have
the park
money?
department's responsibility.
Well, the park department, I should say.
To go, yes.
Yes.
But nevertheless, the mayor has, he's requested this service and this support, and the harbor master has gone ahead and rendered that support and service. And we got a pretty good thing going down here. We simply need the board's approval or disapproval on what we're doing.
We approve the payment through with the have Oktoberfest in September. Is what he asked for.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to continue the service that's been described by Harbor Master through the end of September at a cost of $1,620. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Just to clarify, with them saying that they potentially will be going to the council to secure some money for this, is that for upcoming seasons, or is it to continue after September, or what?
That I don't know. Jeremy told me that the way their budget is right now, they would need an additional appropriation to put stuff out there. This is kind of a stopgap
Okay.
to fill in until they can get something going. But whether they'll keep them there in the off season, I don't know.
Okay.
And it's my impression that what we're trying to do is simply get through this season and then get things back on track again. Yes?
I'm in favor of the whole situation, I will vote for it. Vandalism or destruction, does that come under our insurance also, if something gets destructed, thrown out of there and knocked over?
I don't understand what you're...
Vandalism or destruction of one of the porta potties, both of them, somebody knocks one over, tears something out of
I
them.
think that all comes out of the vendor contract.
Is it?
I would think so.
We wouldn't be insuring somebody else's property. Any other questions or comments? Questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
The motion carries. Do you have anything else, Mr. Frame?
Nope, that's all for now.
Board, do you have questions, Mr. Frame, on other issues?
With the porta potty issue out there, I know in the past, the Port Authority's helped out events that's happened on Port Authority property. And like, for instance, the Cardboard Boat Race. I believe we put porta pots out there last year for the boat race.
No, there's some there now.
There's some there. Could there be money appropriated from the boat race?
The cardboard boat race?
No, the
Super boat
Super
race?
Boat Race.
I think a couple of years ago, we did it 1 year,
Okay.
like when they were first starting, but we haven't done it
And they
since.
take care of it after that?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Anything else? If not, then, Mrs. Plickett, may we have your report, please?
Just a reminder, there'll be an extra week between meetings again because of the 4th of July. On our new customer listing, we are up to actually 104 customers, and we got 2 more today. An inside rack and a boat on the trailer. The new customer listing is the orange one, which is 4 pages. And there's also the list of the 2016 cancellations, which is a blue one, that we've had 65 cancellations this year. And if we know, it's written down there, if we know why.
So, roughly speaking, Mrs. Plickett, our new customers were almost double of our lost customers.
And there's also the occupancy revenue. Like I said, the 2 ones that were rented out today are not on this, the reports were all made out before that. And that's all I have.
Questions, Mrs. Plickett?
Non-payment, does that mean that,
We didn't pay, so we canceled.
well, okay.
If not, then, Mr. Garrett, may we have the financial oversight report, please?
Sure. Just going to touch on about 5 items. If you go 4 down from the top, you have payroll entry for $9,914.17. 3 down from there for $2,078.90 is for Department of Water Works, it's a water sanitation bill. And little over halfway down for $5,375 is Saints removal from pier in East Great Wall. And then the next one down, $37,919.17 is Rackham, which is our fuel. And the second to last, $5,400 is the for Environmental Incorporated, which is for Rural 6 stormwater monitoring, so we're paying for some testing. If you add those 5 items up, it's just under 61,000, which is a little less than 9,000 of what's actually there, sort of thing. So, are there any questions?
Just a question to Tim or Mary Ann about the environmental thing for 54. Is that like a one-timer or is that like an annual? It is an annual.
No one's here.
Thank you.
So, with that being said, I will make a motion that we approve our pay our bills.
Second. So a motion second to pay our bills as they have been presented. Do you have any questions or comments? Questions or comments? Hearing none, those who favor the motion to pay the bills, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you, board, to pay our bills. Mr. Manor, claims and insurance, and park liaison.
I don't have anything with claims and insurance, but I do have something from the park board. I attended the meeting, the park board is the liaison. The meeting was held on the open air deck in the North Point Pavilion. That's our new building over here. That and the lower deck are furnished with very comfortable chairs and tables that recently arrived. It's open to the public for food and drink or to simply relax and enjoy the views and sunsets. The restaurant currently has a beer and wine permit, but has an approved 3-way license as of June the 1st. They will have a 3-way license. A lot of this information I give you here doesn't necessarily pertain to the Port Authority, but I think it's a good FYI for us to know what's going on down here, so that's why I list a lot of this stuff. The meeting was held at the pavilion in honor of the park board attorney, as it was his last park board meeting after a 7-year tenure. Mr. Katz is retiring his law practice, so the park board is engaged in a search for a new attorney. The Washington Park Zoo made a request to acquire 2 lions from a zoo in Nevada to be housed in the White Tiger enclosure. The Zoological Society will pay for the transportation costs. A variance was approved for the use of off-road vehicles, golf cart type vehicles, on the beach. A permit is required for such use, and the entrance will be at stop 2, which will require crossing private property to, and then cross the Esplanade to reach the beach. The park board is creating a high school program for students to work at the parks to be attended to by professionals for educational purposes as well as for work purposes. A Blue Chip concession agreement was formed to allow Blue Chip Casino to be involved in the Fire Fest, the 200-year parade celebration, and 4th of July fireworks weekend. The last thing I have here is a request. Of course, it was a lot of other small things. The last thing I have, a request was put in to hire 2 more full-time employees and some part-time help, as they lost 25% of their employees in 2007, as a lot of organizations did with that big crash we had. So they're looking to hire a couple of full-time employees. I believe one of them is going to be a full-time recreation employee, and I'm not sure what the other one was. I didn't catch that. That's my report.
Nice report, thank you.
You're welcome.
Board, do you have questions or comments regarding Mr. Manning's report? Okay, then we move on. Mr. Ferguson, Master Planning and Special President's report, please.
Nothing at this time.
Okay, then Mr. Messina, Board of Communications and Special Events.
A couple of events maybe coming up this Wednesday. The Wounded Warriors, a group of people, and their families are being taken out, some of the charter boats and just recreational boats with fishing gear aboard, and taken off for like 4 hours, from what I understand. Just a fishing adventure. I don't know if there's anything going on afterwards or not. It's just a fishing adventure. Do you know what?
I will provide donuts for them in the morning.
In what, okay. And that's all taken off from the 700 dock day?
What date is that?
That's this Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be running a boat for that event. Next weekend, June 25th, 26th, is the Skamania Mania, which is an event for steelhead trout put on by the Michiana steelheaders. There's no entry to get into it, just to catch a steelhead trout, bring it in, wade. Through their donations of different vendors, they give out trophies or plaques or merchandise to the top 13 steelhead that are brought in. So that's going to be taking place next Saturday and Sunday. And I think the wade is going to be in a tent area right over here by the Coast Guard. So if anybody wants to wander by there, they're welcome to stop and see any fish.
What kind of attendance are you expecting on that, Ben?
What kind of what?
Attendance?
Attendance, they'll get, I don't know, maybe 100, 150 fish actually brought in and weighed in. Yeah, maybe everybody that brings in fish is going to get something small. But it's quite an event. It's been going on for quite a few years. It's the Michiana Steelheaders that put it on out of our harbor here. Think of anything else that I have for?
Board, you have questions for Mr. Lozano?
The lake water has warmed up. It's like 63, 64 degrees the last couple of days I've been out in the morning, and perch fishing is starting to pick up. So we got a bunch yesterday and some today.
Yeah, you could walk up to your knees and not get cold.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm sure.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask him about.
My on board saw this.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my thoughts are that there's a master photo somewhere with the News Dispatch. And I think it'd be a good idea for the staff to get a copy of that, contact this young man and ask him if we could use it. And I think it ought to be displayed in an appropriate place for other fishermen. And I think it's something that ought to be on the website, particularly on that area that pertains to fishing. So if you don't mind, see if you can track that down and then also get the young
And he
man.
got married Saturday night, so he doesn't have a good week.
1 out of 2.
You may not ever get to go fishing. Yeah.
1 out of 2.
I have an interesting story about that. I was talking to one of the charter captains, and from what I understand, the age of that fish when it was put in, it was actually, at that particular time, I think Steve Craigbaum worked with or for the DNR. And at that particular time, when that fish was put in, by the age of it, Steve Craigbaum was the only one introducing those fish into that lake. So if that's the case, he put the fish in there and his son caught it 28 years later.
That's a good story. Good story. But it's one of those really unique things about what it is we do here. And we like for everybody else to find out what it is. Anything else, Dan?
No.
In terms of port operations and personnel, the only thing I have is I just want to share some financial information with you, simply because we're in business here. And recreational boating is something that people have to really be dedicated to in order to be involved in it. And everything you do with recreational boating has some cost effects to it. But the economic forecast, particularly for discretionary spending, is just really favorable. And I just think it's the kind of thing that we as business people need to be considering. For example, the GDP growth this year is locked in now at 2%. We're looking at 2.5% inflation which is really manageable and not too bad. Crude oil is supposed to stabilize by July between $40 and $45 a barrel, which is really important to us because of the cost of gas and how much gas that a larger boat uses. Then it goes on to say that disposable income is going to be about 2.9%, which is good. The whole point of that little bit of information is that the economy looks to me as though it's working in our favor, and our new customers and other things that are happening here all kind of play together in that, and I just thought I'd share it with you. And it's interesting that Bruce, I know you will appreciate this because we served on the board together several years ago. Back then, we were really focused on one thing and one thing only, and that was to pay off the bonds. The bonds are paid off. And now we've transitioned into a new kind of management and leadership, and that is to operate this business, to keep it strong and keep it healthy and moving forward, and making recreational boating as available as we possibly can to as many people as we possibly can. So we've changed our focus by quite a bit in the last several years. So, and that's simply the reason I wanted to share with you the disposable income thing. That's all I have.
I think, Sam, that's very evident based on a lot of improvements that have been made here since then. I mean, we look at Trail Creek, what we've done with that. We've got that wall fixed out there that's been torn up for years and years. I mean, it's been a tremendous amount of money put into this place so that's sort of the shift that we're on right now. Is really making improvements here to make it more attractive and more accessible. And hopefully we can work with the park department in doing that. So
I agree with Bruce. Mrs. Meir, do you have anything on advertising and public relations?
Mary Ann provided the mayor's office with some statistics and some additional data regarding the Port Authority and some of the activities you guys have going on. Probably in about a week or so, Northwest Indiana Times will have an article that comes out, and the Port Authority is going to receive a considerable amount of highlight in that article. It's a pretty good read. I kind of got a little glance at it. So I'm looking forward to sharing it with the board when it does come out.
Okay. Any questions for Mrs. Meir? I have a question. One day last week, I came down here. I come down here once in a while to see the lakes flood here. I'm sure it's still out there. And there were bicycles all over the place. What was that event?
Someone mentioned it. I don't remember the name, but actually they had an unfortunate event occur too. I believe they were staying at the Clarion Inn, which is the old Holiday Inn, and there was a fire, and they had to evacuate all of them.
Okay.
And I think Red Cross helped with finding different, lodging for them and everything. But yeah, so
It was just, I thought, really exciting to see all those folks down here
Right.
on bicycles. And, they were having a good time. Mr. Sacknoon, may we have the attorney's report, please?
Certainly. I've made substantial progress on the revisions to the winter storage agreement and to the revised slip agreement. I'm still working with the harbor master and staff to finalize those changes so that when they are finalized, I can present them to the board for discussion and approval.
Do you have anything else?
I don't, sir.
The two open claims, have there been any change on those?
On Groves, I've engaged an investigator that I've used in the past to confirm that he's still living at the last address that we have. I usually hear back from him in about 7 or 10 days, so should be, certainly at the next meeting we'll know. And then on the other claim is the person that I think we're still in the 6-month period, although I think it's like
Okay.
3 months have gone by already, I think, since the first letter went out.
He's paid quite a bit.
Oh, I'm thinking of the other gentleman, but has he paid anything since?
No, I think it's down to like $1,500.
Yeah, and I think he's got, I'll double check, but I think he's got about 45 days or maybe 60 days left
Yeah.
under the agreement.
Board, you have questions of our attorney? Okay, is there any new business to come before the board? And to our guest, have you changed your mind? Okay, then we'll accept an invitation to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn?
I was like,
We're adjourned. Thank you, board.